Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano. Today's video is going to be all about beginner scotches. Just like my beginner bourbon video, I've got some parameters on this. I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit and kind of make it my own. There are a lot of beginner scotch videos out there, but hopefully my twist is my twist. So here's what I'm thinking. I've got that same person that was interested in bourbons, and now they're coming up to me and saying, I've been in bourbon for a little bit now, maybe a month or so, and I want to try some scotch. What would you recommend? Do you want to kind of do the same thing and create a flight of 5 scotches that I can try? And of course, my answer is absolutely. Let me go ahead and put something together. Let's get some people over and let's go ahead and talk about scotch. Just like my beginner bourbon video, I'm also going to have some parameters here as well. It has to come from my own collection. I'm going to keep the proof point or the ABV somewhere around 46%. I'm going to try to keep the price under $70. Scotch is pretty expensive, so that might be a little bit tough, but I'm going to try to keep it under $70 per bottle. Nothing is going to be allocated. These should all be scotches that you should see on the shelf. And I'm also going to try not to repeat the regions of Scotland. In the past, I think the regions had a little bit more bearing on the flavor of scotches, but nowadays I think they're kind of intermingled. But whatever the case may be, I'm going to try to stay out of the same region for these beginner scotches. I'm going to keep them light and crisp. I don't want to have anything too challenging for somebody that's coming in for these flights. And just like the bourbon video, there should be some sort of education that is involved with this, but not an overbearing education where I'm throwing out information just to throw it out. If somebody wants to know some information, I'll give it to them. Before I start, let me know in the comments down below what your 5 beginner scotches would be. And then like my bourbon video, I'm also going to throw in a special pour at the very end to cap off the night. So let me know what your 5 are and then what your kicker or ending bottle would be just to finish off the night to maybe tease the person into the next level of scotch. And one last thing, do all those things that YouTubers want you to do, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that stuff. It really helps the channel out a lot. And if you guys have been with me for a little while, you notice that my channel is on a good trajectory. So let's kind of keep that going. All right, first bottle up. We're looking at a Monkey Shoulder. Monkey Shoulder is going to come in at 43% ABV, and this is a blended scotch. So one of the talking points that you might have on here would be the difference between a blended scotch and a single malt. Monkey Shoulder is coming out of, I believe, the Speyside or Highland region. And then you can also talk a little bit about how the Highland region is encompassing Speyside. With the Monkey Shoulder, again, we're keeping something pretty light. We're not looking to blow out anybody's palate. We got some really good fruit sweetness in here. Peaches, grape, a little bit of caramel, and some vanilla notes. And the caramel and vanilla is coming from the ex-bourbon barrels. And you can also give some information or talk a little bit about the barrels that Scotch uses. Monkey Shoulder came out in 2003, and it was meant to be a mixer. So starting off the night, you might also want to do this in a mixer, get their palates going, and then maybe introduce this neat or with some ice, see how it goes. And it's fairly inexpensive, $29.99. All right, on to bottle number 2. Again, we're going to keep this nice and light. So this is the Glenlivet 12. This is a single malt aged stated. This is coming out of the Speyside region. We're dipping down in the ABV, so we're looking at 40% ABV. These are chill filtered, these are color added, and that would be another thing that you can educate or start talking about as you guys are going through this flight. What is chill filtration? What is added color? Does it affect the whiskey or not? And this single malt is aged in European and American oak. Again, very nice and light, nothing very challenging. Because of the European and American oak, you're going to get these vanilla and honey and caramel notes along with the malt. 40% ABV, no burn in there whatsoever. Light, crisp, easy sipper, not challenging. And this is also coming in at like $28. And then you could also kind of throw out there or mention that single malt scotches are not the bulk share of what people are buying. Blended scotches are what people are buying the most, but you can talk about production, and this is taking a backseat to Glenfiddich. Glenfiddich is like the #1 producer of single malt, followed by the Glenlivet. Still pretty tasty, light, fruity, nothing challenging. And if I didn't mention, Monkey Shoulder is being aged in first fill X bourbon barrels. And it's a lot of stuff to remember, and I'm glancing at my notes. So if I forget anything, I'm just going to backtrack. All right, moving on to bottle number 3. Bottle number 3 might be the most difficult one to find. It's not necessarily readily on every shelf in like the big box stores, but we're looking at Arran 10. This is another single malt Scotch, and this is aged in X bourbon and X sherry. So now we're looking at different barrel influences, but still the theme is the same: light, crisp, and fruity. We're stepping up in ABV. This is now 46%. This is a non-chill filtered natural color single malt. It's coming out of the distillery of La Carranza, and that's in the Isle of Arran. This is going to be in a completely different region. And the cask influence here with being X bourbon and the X sherry. The sherry imparts a different type of note that the bourbon would. Bourbons kind of give you a honey, caramel, vanilla flavors to it. That's kind of how they impact the Scotch. Sherry, on the other hand, is starting to go towards the dark fruit. And depending upon the strength of the sherry cask will determine how much you're actually getting out of the whiskey. So another conversation piece could be cask management and how important it is to have a pretty good master distiller and master blender. Again, this one is nice, light, fruity notes. If you really search for it, you could get those sherry notes, but this is mainly more on the peachy, light fruit side of things. If your beginner Scotch person is really, really good at picking out flavors, they might be able to pick out some of the dark fruits there from the X sherry. And this is coming in around $56. And if you guys don't know, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. All right, my fourth one on the list is a sherry bomb. This is going to be the Bunnahabhain 12. This is another age-stated Scotch. And what's interesting about this one is it's coming from a predominant area that is typically known for their peated whiskeys, and this is a non-peated expression. It's the highest ABV on the list, but we're looking at 46.3%. And you can definitely tell the cask influence on this one with the sherry, the X sherry cask. The dominant note on here is definitely the dark fruits, dates, figs, and raisins. This is coming in somewhere around $70. This is the most expensive one on the list, but it is well worth it. The flavor notes on this one are completely different than these other three, and I even think the beginner Scotch drinker will be able to tell that there is a difference between this and these. We're still working with a flavor profile of light and crisp. There's nothing really too dark here, too dense. And the talking point on this one would definitely be peated versus unpeated and the region that it's located in. And then you can also start A/B comparing all of these to see the difference in the flavors, see if they can start picking out different notes in each one, and then kind of backtrack and talk about the barrel influence as well. All right, the fifth and final one in the actual flight before we get to the kicker whiskey or the special pour to finish off the flight. This one's actually going to include some peat. A peated whiskey. Now, it's not going to be heavily peated, so you're not going to kind of scare anybody off unless they are really peat sensitive. And that fifth bottle is going to be Highland Park 12 Viking Honor. Again, this is another age-stated single malt Scotch. This one's coming in at 43% ABV. It's natural color. Doesn't say anything about chill filtration. It is lightly peated, and we're going to finish the flight testing their ability on whether they can actually separate the peat note from a flavor note underneath that, which is going to be sherry. Highland Park uses European and American sherry barrels. This might cause them to think a little bit on whether or not they actually like a peated whiskey or not, because people can definitely be peat sensitive. It's one of those things where you either like it or don't like it. I hit the light, sweet, crisp Scotches at the very beginning, and then I started to want to challenge myself, and that's where the peat came in, and I have not looked back since. I am definitely a peat freak when it comes to Scotch whiskey. All right, so there you go for the first 5. And then again, just like my bourbon video, you don't want to just end the night and say, okay, thank you. What did you guys think of this? You want to bring something out that's a little bit special and push the envelope and say, okay, once you guys get into the Scotch scene, where might you want to go next rather than these nice and light, fruity Scotches? When people do think Scotch, they probably typically think, ooh, Scotch, we're looking at like a really age stated, something that's really old. And because something has a huge or a very old age statement, it must be really, really good and really, really expensive. And that's where the special pour comes in. My special pour is going to be an affordable age stated single malt Scotch, the Glenfarclas 25. And what's unique about Glenfarclas 25 is they do 100% Oloroso sherry casks. And this is going to be a little bit more well-rounded. There are no sharp edges. The age mellows the Scotch quite a bit. And then now that all 6 whiskeys are out on the table, and if you've done your job as a host, you haven't oversaturated their brains with a bunch of education. It's not proving to them how much you know. It's showing them the world of Scotch. It's all about having a good time. It's all about introducing different types of Scotch, trying to figure out their palate, and along the way, educate if they're interested. And if you guys are interested and you like this information, give me a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. This is part 1 of a 3-part series for beginner Scotches. So if you like this information, go ahead and turn that bell notification on so when I do go live with my next video, you'll be notified. Before you guys leave, don't forget to put down your list of your 5 Scotches, your 5 beginner Scotches, and what your ending pour would be. That's all I got for you guys today. Enjoy your journey. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.